the next.
But I just said, so tell me what. When people began to personally attack,
saying we're broken, we're out of fucking business.
I'm sorry. I'm talking about the average citizen, though. I'm being real.
I'm talking about the European Union, you dumb.
No, I'm talking about the average citizen. Because what happens is, what you don't understand is
that... No, what I don't understand is they're broke without us.
That's your assumption, because, see, what happens is they can create, like in Davos and other conversations that they've been having, even in Munich, when after Rubio made his speech. Or did you see the speech that Rubio made? No, you didn't, right? Oh, sorry, you're too dumb for that too. Okay, so what happened was that they're going to make their own free trade outside of us that may exclude us. And like they said, you can't pick a fight with everybody.
Who they doing?
Because when you're picking a fight with everybody, just because we're a superpower, someone will lose.
Who they doing it with? China? Are you too stupid to fucking remember what they said about it when China came to them?
Oh, but China did can. But they're now doing deals with China, right? But they're doing deals with China now, aren't they?
You know what?
They're doing deals with China?
No,
they're doing deals with India.
You know why?
And they're doing deals with Malaysia. They're doing deals with everybody's doing deals now. And Trump is pissed off. And Trump is pissed off. And he's now telling them they better buy from us.
So then China went elsewhere. And China couldn't get it done. And then China came to the fucking table and bowed to fucking Trump and said, all right, fine, deal.
Actually, no, did you ever see?
Said no.
Actually,
Europe said no.
He's laughing. Can you not see his face?
No.
Because the one thing China said was, they've been around for 2,000 years. They know how to do patience.
Europe said no.
You know what China said? They've been around for 2,000 years.
You know why Europe
said no? Trump's going to break China? Trump is only in the office for the next 3 years. You think they're going to break China? You got a dictator going against the United States. China is not going to break. They've been around for 2,000 years. They're to be around. They've been around for 2,000 years. They'll be around longer than we will. So we need to learn how to play nice in the play yard.
You know what's happening to their economy?
What we say, we need to play nice in the play
yard. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
No, I do. I do.
What if the other people don't play nice with you? You still going to play nice?
When you don't play nice, then you don't do tariffs. You do trade agreements, right?
What trade
agreement? You create an incentive, but you don't have to. Just like sanctions exist. Yeah, I'm not against sanctions. I'm not against sanctions. I'm not against export compliance or trade compliance or regulatory compliance. What I'm not for is tariffs that harm our everyday citizens. That's it.
Tariffs are not necessarily harming us. We're forcing other people to lower their trade barriers. Because they've been erecting trade barriers left and right and in all kinds of names. That's why we need to fight back.
Thank you.
I disagree that everybody has a trade barrier, because just because somebody doesn't want to have modified GMO meat into their country, I think they have restrictions and standards. U.S. would like to export their beef. I'm giving you an example. I'm not rambling. I'm not rambling. No, I'm just being honest.
Okay,
some of the trade barriers that exist have to do with the quality of the meat or the quality of the product that's going into the country.
Jeep Wrangler has over 100% fucking tariff on it when it comes in. China literally nails the shit out of our cars so people don't buy them. So
but don't we literally nail the shit out of Chinese cars so that we don't have BYD on this market? We told Canada don't import BYD into their land. We're telling other countries don't do this.
Show me a $40,000 car in their country we're paying $100 for.
Well, no, but we tell other countries don't do this. Otherwise, we're going to raise your tariffs and we're going to cause you harm.
China did it to us first.
Yes, they did. They raised the tariffs on the on a Jeep Wrangler was the one that I used to specifically look up, and it was like it was right around like $48,000 at the time I did the research, and they were paying over $100,000 if they wanted to buy one there because China wants them buying their stuff. So literally over twice the value. So yes, should we tariff? Yes. Show me a car.
Actually, no. Why don't we make Americans buy our stuff?
You just can't fucking stop. Now,
I'm just saying, why can't you just tell Americans to buy our stuff?
So
can you just mandate Americans to buy our stuff?
How do you do that?
Is that capitalism?
You guys are big.
That's
Hey,
because the left wants socialism. That's all.
no, I'm just saying. No,
That's
actually, it's the right that I'm not. It's not right or wrong. I'm just letting you know that certain countries are certain administrations right now are buying into certain companies and telling them that they need to now operate in a certain principle.
Okay,
you think the TikTok deal? We're not a free market anymore. We're doing TikTok.
Bribery, whatever.
Oh, come on.
No, I don't know how you say it, so I'm just fucking saying it because I haven't heard you say it. But here's the deal.
No, I don't need you to know it.
I don't want to fucking know it. I don't give a fuck. You're fucking 2 cents to me. Fucking shit you out tomorrow. I don't care. I don't care.
Now doing personal attacks. Personal attacks are a sign of insecurity.
There's no insecurity. It's your fucking attitude.
See, there you go.
You're fucking.
You gotta control yourself. Breathe in and exhale.
How come you can't shut the fuck up and listen?
Breathe in.
No wonder you're fucking single.
And I'm not single, actually.
Yeah, you are.
You wish I was. You're probably single. See, that's where you go. You're probably single and been dumped about 500 times.
Yeah, not quite. Been in 3 fucking relationships, and this one's.
That's the only one. Oh, I'm sorry. And how old are you? 58? 70?
Yeah, I'm 72. And with the same woman for 41 years. So now you can get on your knees and do what you should be doing.
No, what?
You probably do that. And that's why your man went after the other girl.
No, my man, my man is.
Yeah, your man did do it.
He's a wonderful man.
Yeah.
He's a God-fearing, wonderful man.
Yeah.
He wouldn't waste my time. He wouldn't waste his time.
I know he wouldn't waste his time.
No, not with you.
No.
No,
I'd hope. I'm not gay, so I mean, maybe he.
But see, the problem is that you're deflecting. Isn't that Darvos?
Deflecting. If you want to go
that's Darvos. That's Darvos. You deflect.
And you don't want to answer.
You defect. You attack.
Said.
And then you victimize yourself. Okay. Darvos.
When the reality is this: China did it to us. We started doing it back, and then fucking liberals got mad because we did it back. This is how fucking mind-numbing it is to even listen to a liberal. So let me just say this: that fucking Bree decides to start charging $200 an hour for that fucking blowjob, but the girl next door is charging $100.
You're so misogynistic. Does your wife really love you, or is this your 3rd or 4th marriage? I'm sorry.
Been married once, but you can keep fucking trying. So. I know.
Fucking trying with you.
What did you just say?
You're so misogynistic.
You just said a minute ago insecurity. At least you admit you're insecure. I love it.
Oh, I never said I'm insecure. You are.
Baby,
this is one woman that doesn't give a fuck about what you think.
So the best part about
this is one person that
you literally just said you go into attack.
No, you just said something about me. No, when you're saying something about me, I'm responding. So you're not that smart.
No,
because you say something about somebody, expect them to respond, right?
You don't say a fucking word. You don't let somebody finish. I was going to try to tell you that China fucking terrorist us first. They started terrorizing.
I heard that 3 times already.
Yep.
No, I already heard that, and I said you can do sanctions, you can do whatever, you can put people on entity lists, but what you can't do is I don't think the tariffs are something that is healthy. Go ahead. I'm sorry to continue to talk, James.
No, I was just curious. China put tariffs on us first, so you don't think retaliation tariffs are a good thing?
I don't think retaliation tariffs are a good thing. They create an inefficiency, and even though there's the Taft-Hartley tariffs that happened in 1929, early 30s, that dipped the American economy. Whether there's a direct causal relationship remains to be debated, but that dipped us into the Great Recession, along with the stock market crash, and then the retaliatory tariffs during that time period. So you got to be careful in the balance of the economy. When you have a devaluing dollar, and you have tariffs hitting back and forth, and then you have a very volatile way that you don't know. You have declining employment and other risks that are out there. You don't want to tip whatever the situation is, our economy into a recession or depression, right?
Yeah.
Another question. Yeah, China. Well, let me respond to the China question. Like I said, it is not efficient to hit tariffs because in the end, our citizens as a democracy pay. Now, I don't know what China does to its citizens. I don't think they even give. No, actually, I do know. They don't give their citizens choices as elaborate as we do. So when our citizens go to the market and they go to Walmart or they go to Target or they go to any other consumer retail store that has had a bargain price, right? When you get tariffs, it hits them. So that $12,000 that William was willing to pay at one point, our average American citizen can't pay that. And that's what we have to be reflective on.
No, I understand where you're coming from that, but I got another question for you. So you understand that if China produces a lot of stuff that we need, manufactures a lot of stuff that we need, right? And if they ever went to attack Taiwan, we would be at war with China. How would that impact our manufacturing needs at that point?
Name what we automatically have to get from China. We have
a lot of our medication.
We cannot. I'm just saying what.
A lot of our medication that we get from China.
We can get our medications also from Netherlands and Europe, right?
Yeah, well, that's the point. Netherlands and Europe, they're also giving up their manufacturing to China.
But that's why I said to you, okay, but Hanson, that's where I said to you, you can't pick a fight with everybody, because when we do these worldwide tariffs, we're picking. See, the logic doesn't make sense. We're picking on 139 countries. But yet, I'm just throwing that number out there. I think it's significantly less, but it's still high up there. We're picking on random countries. But see, all they have to do is pick on one United States. Yeah. So the odds of what we're putting in the damage is greater on us than the other way around.
Not necessarily. Just because the number of countries, if there are a number of countries, the size of the economy is much less than the U.S.
But it would depend. Yeah, but it would.
So I'm saying that the evidence is using the premises, the number of countries. That's not the relevant quantity here. It's the size of the economy.
And yeah, the size of the economy. True, yes. But then that means the United States, being as large as we are, shouldn't have to pick on the small ones. But when we're the small ones, if the United States is not largely their export partner. But when you begin to raise tariffs in countries that the United States is not their number one partner, you're creating friction that doesn't exist. So when the United States went and said, I'm going to now do Vietnam and I'm now going to do Malaysia, a lot of the trading partners weren't necessarily the United States. They had large partnerships and trades with China. You are now causing a friction where, United States citizens, where we had essential goods coming from Vietnam or Malaysia or even Singapore, now have to consider, let me see if I can find another outlet for my product that now the United States has become very unfriendly towards me. The trade agreement that we negotiated about a year ago or 3 years ago, even when someone had brought up in our argument the USMC, which is former NAFTA, right? We negotiated that. Trump actually negotiated that in his first term. Now he blew up those terms and those conditions in those trade agreements. So by putting tariffs, you're now not only causing harm to our word as a country, because we're inconsistent with our trade agreements, because that's what it is. It's an agreement. Now we're now going to levy tariffs against you. Shows that you're inconsistent and I can't trust you. So it's best to find reliable partners. And the one thing that the market doesn't like is uncertainty. So people begin to move they don't want to bank their money against the U.S. dollar. They start looking at gold reserves. And the petrodollar becomes weak.
So maybe the premise is wrong because the previous premise is that if we're on the same playing field and people can make their choices, the thing is we are the most open market by far.
Combat Zionism, the final stages of Zionism
in the world, and China is not the open market. And precisely where we have the trade friction with China is precisely
late stage Zionism.
On the you talk about the trade deals, and they renege on the biggest trade deal, WTO, and the renege on with China, with America, and with Europe, and everybody, and it also Europeans are also reneging on their trade deals because they're erecting the trade barriers, and so we're just pointing out this deficiency, to say the least, if not the renegation on the trade deals on their part, and we're just saying, well, here's the medicine. You brewed for yourself. Take a sip of your own medicine and see what it tastes like. And if you don't do that, then we're going to renege just the same. And either you break the trade deal with us, or you bend your own behavior. And that's the purpose of this you can say friction or whatever. It's because they erected the barrier and they broke the treaty.
Operation Combat Zionism. Late stage Zionism. Part of the New World Order. Tradecraft.
I don't know.
NAFTA.
This is like game theoretic tactics.
Benjamin Netanyahu 2060-55 Cyborg Edition.
Free trade agreement.
Okay. I disagree. First of all, when you said that U.S. is the most open market, it depends on how we define open. If we look at open in terms of zero, one moment.
Low tariffs.
Then Singapore has 0 to no tariffs. It's extremely low in its regulatory barriers. Then you have Switzerland. No, I'm just Union. Ireland has a low tariff. Ireland has low tariffs.
Just had an abortion.
Right? They're part of the EU, not England, not the United Kingdom. I'm talking Ireland.
Yeah, as a whole, like Germany.
Yeah,
I'm considered a late stage abortion in the Democrat community.
Because they didn't Brexit, right?
Late stage.
Ireland is a small country.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, openness can be defined, and United States
I'm not
oftentimes
Jewish.
is not ranked
I'm a
as the largest in openness. But nevertheless, going back to the original argument on if they did it first, therefore we're doing it retaliation. When you have an agreement, they did not break the agreement. It wasn't until and I'm not saying who's right and wrong.
First thing is the agreements were unbalanced in the first place.
Okay, so now we're going to revise it and say it was unbalanced. Okay.
Tariffs, not only higher tariffs, but also they had the non-tariff trade barriers, left and right, the obvious covert and overt trade barriers.
But we have sanctions, right? And we're driving all the Wassenaar and all these other countries to comply with U.S. So we have sanctions. So just because they have trade barriers, we can put sanctions against them. Like we do with Iran. So we still use certain tools.
You want to hurt the people in foreign
It's not kosher.
I'm just saying.
It's not kosher.
Sanctions are brutal.
Shema Yisrael
Well,
Adonai
tariffs are
Eloheinu
not friendly
Adonai
either, and it's
Echad.
brutal to those
Ribono
countries
Shel
that
Olam.
rely largely on
Actually,
that.
tariff is more. I mean, first of all, we don't.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
I mean, covert and overt
Ribono Shel Olam.
policies, and this is probably the.
There are followers
the
of the
only,
Rebbe who
open,
say
tools we
Ribono
have
Shel
in our
Olam is extremely
change.
useful. Ribono Shel
Whether
Olam.
it's foe or friends behavior.
We
They
have
say
other
it's good
tools
for the
besides
blood
tariffs.
pressure.
It's basically economic statecraft, right? That's what
Silent
we
for 15 minutes. but
Greater
you-
Israel.
Sanctions and tariffs.
No, sanction. What I say is, I leverage. If I
We're
have
listening to
dealing with
a
a
San
harsh
Francisco
country,
State
I told
University
you this
law
already, this is
professor
something I
and
said it
Google
earlier. I would
employee
leverage sanctions.
talking
Whether
nonstop
it's
for
financial
hours.
sanctions
Everybody's given
or
up
hard
over the
sanctions,
past couple
and
hours.
that's
She's
what we
undefeated.
That's what we've done for years with Cuba.
She's got incredible resiliency and spirit.
That's what we did with Venezuela. That's what we do with North Korea. That's what we do. Tariffs are again attacks to our citizens. I'm going to be consistent. It's a tax to our
Your
consumers.
love for me burns deep. How deep? Prove it.
And
You know what we've done with China? We put a lot of the companies that we feel that are bad actors or entities that act in a certain we put them on an entity list in the United States.
Sure, but
Yeah.
that's just
So an entity list tells us that we are not going to do business. It doesn't mean, or we limit your business, or we limit what you're able to export into our country. If we also have problems with a certain entity, we have countervailances tax or anti-dumping laws. So that if we feel that someone is undermining our ability to, or importing stuff that we feel is an unfair or imbalanced trade, we will hit them with countervailance or anti-dumping laws, so that they don't dump and put our businesses out of, our companies out of business. Oh, no, it's very
Boycott
different.
and divest
Anti-dumping
the
is very-
Zionists.
Very different.
Never.
Because it's also industry specific, and it
Zionist
stops people and
covalence
companies from dumping
taxation.
and putting
Yeah,
U.S.
so
companies out of
basically
business. And it's targeting tariffs.
Benjamin
don't put-
Netanyahu,
tariffs put
2065
US companies out of
Cyborg
business.
Edition.
So did we still
There's
get
a lot
some
of
steel
importers.
coming in when we did that, or does it prevent all of the products from coming
We
in?
have-
Lower back.
Actually, we have
Pain
anti-dumping
free.
laws for U.S.
Yeah,
steel,
and what you're saying
so that
does that stop
Canadian steel
all
or
of
China
the
steel.
products from coming in?
Power of the
Does it
felon.
prevent all
Rabboni
of the
Shalom.
products from coming in?
Rabboni Shalom. Get your tickets for your local Purim Chabad festival soon. Rabboni
It's
Shalom.
not a tariff.
You're missing the
You
point.
may have missed the early bird special, but it's never too late. Rabboni
No,
Shalom.
anti-dumping
Nation
hits the
status,
companies.
which is the only other
Anti-dumping.
incentive we have. You're not even smart enough to be making your own
Oh
argument.
no, I'm actually very smart to make
Besides-
that. I don't need your validation. You're the one without the degrees, and you're the one. I don't care. I don't need your worry.
Anti-dumping or the sanction on particular company
Well,
applies.
counterbalance. I said counterbalance.
One company or two company does the bad.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. But
Exactly.
the thing is, what if the whole country has a policy of doing the same for all companies? What are you going to do? Of course, you can do, well, all your companies, yes, we can do the 301, the sanctions on every company. But how's that different from a tariff?
It is different because again, it's specific to an industry and it's specific,
But I'm just saying that the whole,
and it's different from a tariff because the difference.
Sanction on
There are followers of the
1, 2,
rebel who
3
say
companies.
Rabboni
So let's
Shalom
say
is
if the industry
extremely
wanted to
useful to
end
say. Rabboni
100,000
Shalom.
companies in this industry all doing the same thing because they're under the same policy of the government, and doing the same thing. It's a uniform same thing. Of course, you can apply the 301
Countervalence.
to all
Countervalence.
companies. How's that different from this sanctioning the whole industry?
Because it is very different. Because again, when you sanction a company, it impacts the company that is the bad actor. But when you do a tariff, it does not tariff the country. The country is upset about it. But in the end, when you have a price markup, let's say I do I charge $1,000 for an iPhone. What you're looking at is that it's the consumers that are importing that the importer that is now John
My
Schmo.
beautiful
Let me
Payas.
finish. John Schmo.
Hey, my boy, Shalom.
Has to now import a whole bunch of boxes. I am. I said that's the difference. I did say
Ribbon
that's the
Shalom.
difference. No, I'm not. Dude,
Listen to his
and
question
I
answer
said the
question.
difference is that the consumer pays. Are you a
Ribbon
dumbass?
Shalom. Ribbon Shalom.
The company is not
Ribbon
paying.
Shalom. Ribbon 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 Shalom.
In most cases, they are.
There are followers of the rebel who say Ribbon Shalom is extremely useful to say 1,000 times a day. Ribbon Shalom.
Sale price can raise its price, so it can do both ways.
Ribbon Shalom. Ribbon Shalom. It's a Jewish mantra. You just repeat it over and over again. So when you hear people like this who can't stop talking, it's a mantra. So, you don't have to sit there and think all the time. You can just say Ribbon Shalom. Ribbon Shalom. Ribbon Shalom. Ribbon Shalom.
The same thing. Are you going to pinpoint every company of this industry, or are you going to sanction the whole industry? What's the difference?
Well, in the 301 section, to be very clear, so I can make sure that everybody understands, that's an specific, right? So it authorizes the president to adjust the imports, right? So when you're talking about that, and that's basically reciprocal tariffs that apply to fentanyl or anything that is dangerous that comes into the country to prevent the importing of it. See, that's different than the blanket tariffs that were applied to a country, right?
I'm not,
and
hello?
I never said.
Let's say if we.
It is different because there's the
Hello?
IEEPA tariffs.
Answer my question. Let me restate my question. So let's say we focus on one industry before we focus on the whole country, and on one industry. So the one option is apply a tariff, whatever you say, to the whole industry of this country, and the other one is using Section 301 to apply to every company of this industry. And what is the difference?
There's actually a big difference because I think you're misunderstanding the 301 section. When you're doing a specific country, because you're penalizing them, tariffs will not necessarily be the best solution. You might as well block them if you don't want to do business with them, or you're trade agreement with them, right? To limit what they're allowed to import into the country. So no. So when you're doing a tariff specific, the intent of a tariff is to either penalize that industry, which is the case of the Section 301 tariffs, which deals with the product like the fentanyl, which is encouraged. But I believe the blanket tariffs, like I said, and I'm not changing or deviating, is a hazard to our citizens. That is it. Now, if you're trying to protect an industry, I did answer the question. No, you guys don't like the answer. No, you don't like the answer. Because you're not smart enough to read the answer to understand the
smart enough to understand
and a blanket tariff. No, you don't know the difference between a 301 and a
don't understand his question.
What's the 301? What's the 301? You can, yes.
Right. Okay. So what I'm saying is, when you try to section one option is to
For national security reasons, yes. If it's a national security.
For whatever reason, but we're just trying to see the difference. So and then the other one is so now we decided that this is applying the same uniform.
This is an Iranian flute. I think it's called the duduk or something. Duduk. I don't know. It's very hard to play. It's basically like a vibration flute. It's pretty dope.
Pinpoint companies and
Seek his nay. Seek his nay.
And when we have determined that every company in this industry is doing the same harm to the U.S., one option is a blanket penalty. The other option is apply individual penalty for every company in this industry. So what's the difference?
Well, what's the difference? This is where I wanted to make sure you're clear. I said the blanket tariffs. I'm going to go back because there is a difference. The blanket tariffs, which were the IEEPAs, which is what Trump did on Tariff Liberation Day, right? That is not okay. But the difference between the sanctions that I would do in place would be for national security reasons. If an industry is causing a harm, which is similar to a Section 301, it's actually Section 232, where there is a national security threat. So if fentanyl is coming across the border, or our lumber industry is in peril, or steel is in peril, then the tariffs are justifiable only in that term because you're trying, or you lose countervailance or anti-dumping laws to prevent that. But that is a choice for tariffs at that point, which is Section 322. That's the difference, right? The difference is A, national security reasons.
Very hard to play.
Or or the authority, which is 301 for unfair practices. That is very limiting and is not going to benefit because, again, that's where you target a specific country. That's the difference. I wouldn't do a blanket. I wouldn't do a blanket. The difference is a blanket tariff.
National security reason for unfair practice sanctions on all companies.
Okay, sanctions don't levy a financial penalty per se to the importer.
So
right? The sanctions.
Doing no business.
Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, that's the best way to say it.
So actually, so if that's the difference, then I think the tariff is better because tariff you have a dated gradual dated penalty. You don't have to raise it to 100%, either 0 or 100%. We can because you're
Never had one lesson.
You have a panel.
Home run!
National security, and then they still want to do business. If you raise the price and all that, then we can do that. So this is a much flexible tool than the sanction.
I don't think so because again, there's 3 different types of tariffs. Or 4 actually. You have the IEEPA, which is similar to like the sanctions. That was what, and that's the tariffs. That was the blanket one that Trump was doing. That is not good. I don't see that.
Why is it not?
Because again,
well, I'm just saying that
well, hold on.
Let me pose the question here because you didn't answer the question. So the sanction is either 0, no penalty whatsoever, and 100% meaning that no business deal whatsoever, and then the tariff can go from 0% to 2%, 1.52%, 65, 100%, 200% until no business is done. So we have a gradation all the way. So it's much more flexible than the binary.
I can agree with you that it could be more flexible. The
Hello?
problem is that the current implementation by which was taken was not flexible. You had a minimum, you did not have a minimum tariff at Tariff Liberation Day nor on the existing tariff until recently, where all the tariffs were administered at least above 25%.
That's true. The sanction is even worse because that would be completely.
You can always take it off.
Yeah.
The sanction you can always remove.
Completely cutting off the trade.
No, you just cut off the company.
It will be infinite, either 0 or infinite 10. Right?
No,
So
you can sanction a company.
I can decide where if he sees fit, it's 10% or 25% or 30%, 50%. That's a very flexible.
But then it becomes arbitrary and it creates distrust.
Well,
because when you begin to have a gradient and a variation of tariffs, and it may be on a different product or whatever it is, country of origin of XYZ country.
Show's over. What are you still doing here? Show's over.
That's why I'm arguing for trade deals.
Got my tefillin in for the day. Skipped it yesterday. Did it at midnight. Ribono Shel Olam.
If you have a trade deal, you are
When was the last time you put on tefillin?
that is binding.
Today. Ribono Shel Olam.
But when you have a tariff, that's not necessarily a trade deal. Trump went back. Yeah, but Trump went back and changed his tariffs to France 3 or 4 times. Trump changed his tariffs to China 3 or 6 times. I think you're missing the point. Trump went back and changed his tariffs to China several
times. But you can be
arbitrary
in a trade deal. How can you be arbitrary in a trade deal but not a treaty? And how can you not see that the treaty
you did not understand. I said you can be arbitrary in a tariff. I didn't say a trade deal.
But you can decide. You can also be arbitrary in a sanction as
You
well.
said that you could be arbitrary in a trade deal earlier.
No, you're missing. No, I said in a trade deal, which is a tariff agreement. I said you have consistency. It is enforced. That is the problem, is that Trump then introduced, and not just Trump, other people did it, arbitrary, like, I'm going to now raise a tariff. Under what condition? What is your justification? Now are you pissed off with me because I didn't vote at the UN Security Council a certain way, or I'm now going to support X, Y, and Z, and I'm now going to support this. Now I'm going to raise your tariff 50%.
So is your opposition to tariffs because of the motive or the incentive?
No, I am the inconsistency of it being applying. I'm against tariffs because it's a tax.
The question first.
Yeah, I said I'm against tariffs again, and I don't have to spell it out to you, William, unless you want me to. Merci avec toi alors, parce que vous êtes très mauvais. Et quand tu dis les choses comme ça, vous avez vachement comme les malades, comme les bêtes. No, I told you over and over again. I told you over and over again. It's a tax to our consumers. And our people do not need to have arbitrary costs rolled on down to them. It's a tax to our consumers and our citizens. And they don't need to pay arbitrary. That is why I'm against tariffs. And until you get into your head, William, you just don't like my answer. William, you just don't like my answer. I still feel like a tax. It's a tax to our citizens. And that is it. I do not care what you do. It does not change the Supreme Court decision. It's still a problem. The tariffs are still a problem when it's not applied in a certain way. It's still a problem. William, until you can get to the news, a tariff is still a problem. A tariff is only good when you do it as a Section 301, a 232, or a 122. Okay? William, you're not very bright. Understand what a tariff is?
That's my projection alert, Bell. She just said you're not very bright, William. That's her projection. Hello?
Actually, no, I'm not.
This woman works at Google and is a law professor. Hello?
What do you do for a living?
She can't even have a conversation. Hello?
What do you do for a living?
Ribono Shel Olam, they're our followers of the Rebbe, who say Ribono Shel Olam is extremely useful. Ribono Shel Olam.
You could just be quiet long enough to let me finish the question.
Ooh.
Are you against the tariffs because of the motivation that somebody uses to apply them? Or are you against the tariffs
Ribono Shel Olam.
that they are incentive to get a trade deal?
We're going to the planet Dune. I'm a spice merchant.
If they were, then there would be trade deals in place.
Its surface is barren.
They're not. They were.
Its true strength hidden.
So I'm against tariffs because, again, you asked me the
Its
question.
foreboding desert conceals the power to fold space.
A taxation to our citizens or any of the.
To slow time. To send the mind where the body cannot go. It is the source of the ultimate power. It is the deadly battleground where a young leader will emerge to command an army of 6 million warriors against the tyrannical force that threatens to enslave the universe. It is the clash for the greatest prize of all, the planet called Dune. A world beyond your experience, beyond your imagination. The motion picture event you've been waiting for.
Instead of using it to punish countries for what the world considers to be bad behavior, because you're more comfortable calling it a sanction, isn't that kind of overblowing the word sanction?
No.
Shouldn't we reserve that for countries like
really.
Iran
Not
and
really.
Cuba? No, we should just call it a sanction. Right? So let me ask you a follow-up question. So you said why you're against tariffs. So had the tariffs led to trade deals when you claim they didn't, but let's say they had led to trade deals, would that have been a proper incentive to use if it resulted in a trade deal?
No, I said no, because in the end, the tariffs rose its cost to the consumers.
Okay.
Wait, what? In the end, it raises the price on consumers. Is that what you said?
Yes.
So basically, your reason for against it is because it raises its tax on the consumer, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the reason.
And Hanson, real quick, I do agree with the fact that they can adjust the price up the stream, right? Upstream, right when they sell, right when they have the deal with the seller at the very beginning. But that is rarely done, and it's not done because it cuts into the margin oftentimes of what a tariff is not necessarily always planned. It can be impulsive, it can be whatever the situation is, and that is what causes the margins for companies to fall because they don't have the budget that they usually do.
But if they still survive, they can they'll do it. So there's no reason that they couldn't do it. And then also your previous reason for being against tariff is because of tax. But the thing is, sanctions is also a tax. So you should be against sanction as well. All right, I don't know. Did you
No. Previously, she made the argument it's not taxing the same people, it's taxing the foreigners, not the American citizens, was her previous argument.
No, but the thing is, that's the same thing, right? I mean, because
I know, she got really silent, so I was telling you what her answer was before. We're just repeating pattern.
Yeah, I understand, but I want to point out the logical contradiction in that argument. If she's using that, then I mean, sanction basically is infinite percent tariff, and so that will also definitely it will be even more cutting to the tax the consumer even more because it's a so sanction is basically infinite percent tariff, and then tariff any tariff as a final percent will be better than the infinite percent.
I don't agree, again, because the tariffs is paid, like I said. I do believe, like I said, you can have a sanction, and it can also affect or ban a company that you don't think is doing good business. Or it can also impact and influence a country to have a positive behavior. The tariffs, though, in the end, when you roll out a tariff, and I will continue to uphold this, it ends up impacting adversely the consumer in the importing country.
So
how
does
Hanson or William, can I ask a question? Hanson or William can answer this. What effect prices on the products? Let's just say American. Okay, and so for prices, if we limit something, if you put sanctions on something and limit the number of exports, let's just say eggs. We make, let's just say we sanction the country that's got sending eggs to America, right? We sanction it. And now we have a limited supply of eggs. What happens to the price of the eggs?
That's exactly my point. Because sanction is
They go up.
The tariff, an infinite percent tariff, and the other finite tariff would be less than infinite. So
but that's not necessarily the case, because when you sanction a company because of behavior that you feel, it doesn't.
Company. Why,
or a country. You can sanction a company and a country. You can.
We sanction a company?
You can sanction a company. They're on an entity list. That's what they call sanction. You have a sanctions list of entities. You can look it up. So when you do that, there's still a limited amount of other choices out there. So eggs, you don't always have to get eggs at one source. So what I'm saying is that I understand your argument, Ice, makes sense. However, because of the diversity of the market, it is not a blanket from, let's say, we're cheese that comes from France or whatever the selection of cheese. It's not everything, absolutely everything that is coming in that's been selected that comes into from France that we're now going to do an increase at 40%. Right? It's not, and the cheese is not. It's not applied equally. Or what I'm saying is that there's an issue there, and you have other choices, but it hurts those consumers that when you have a tariff at 40% for France on their cheese, they're now going to pay a 40% augmented price.
Well, your same argument applies.
Eat American cheese.
The same argument applies.
Go ahead, William.
When the supply of cheese goes away, you can seek other sources of cheese. So the same argument applies. And then the sanctions are basically the infinity percent. The consumer pays the price even higher than the 40% tariff.
I still disagree, but I apologize. It's now 1:30 my time. I've got to get to bed. I disagree. I disagree because it's not
Have we ever sanctioned a company but not a country?
Hold on.
Have we ever sanctioned a company but not a country?
Yeah. You can sanction. We didn't sanction fully China, but we sanctioned Huawei.
Tell us a company we've
No.
sanctioned.
What I'm saying is we didn't sanction China, but we sanctioned Huawei.
Okay,
right?
So whether it's industry A, right? Industry A or company A, it doesn't matter. So sanction is basically no trade whatsoever. That this is equivalent to applying an infinity percent tariff. And then we call tariff is we put 40% tariff. How does the 40% tariff is a higher tax on the consumer than the infinity percent tariff on the consumer?
Repeat your question.
Cheese is
I said,
number one producer of cheese in the world.
Cheese, okay, cheese company.
But we're number one producer of cheese in the world, so we can produce
confine this question, right? Cheese company, the French cheese company, one particular French cheese company, we can apply a sanction on this French cheese company. And then the other option is 40% tariff on this French cheese company. How does the
who cut the cheese?
Is worse than applying sanction, which is infinity percent tariff on this cheese company? How is it?
I'm going to go back to our original argument. Very good question. Your original argument was that if they had bad actors, right, that acted adversely to the national security or other concerns of the country, of our country, then your goal is to either have punitive measures. So that means you punish them either with the sanctions, but doing a tariff, again, because you're directly punishing the company versus punishing our consumers that may have the augmented price.
The company is.
I gave you the response. You may not like it.
Sure,
that is my response. But I have to go. It's 11:30. It's 1:30 my time. Sorry, I've got to get to work in the morning. It's 1:30 my.
Why would anyone want to interact with her?
She's escaping. I mean, guys, don't. I'm trying to back her into a corner. Don't mess it up.
Yeah, you have way more patience than the rest of us.
Yeah, but the thing is,
your time didn't even go up. It's like, damn, dude, you were the best.
Yeah, hold on, let me finish. Because I want to, how you back someone into a corner, you set up a question that is very clear cut, and then it makes no sense, stem all the exits and see how your opponent wiggle and squirm, but that takes a little bit of time. So please, because but she I think she's already beating the heat, so that's why it's good.
Yeah, I know. I do the same. Ice does the same. We had badger into corners, multiple corners all night long before you came in, right? So, but
yeah, because
you just want to chill.
Yeah, because if you not setting up this cage and leave all the exit open, then your opponent can squeeze through and in and out and then out. There's no way. It's like what do you call it? Hitting a whack-a-mole. Whack-a-mole, yes. Whack-a-mole. You need to find you close all the exit and slowly, squeeze in.
Yeah, so that's what my point earlier. I mean, we were talking. She doesn't. We can't manufacture, and I think as William was trying to explain how many trillions. And the reason, this is what I love, is when they say, "Show me proof, show me." You have literally had leaders of countries standing there saying, "We're going to do this." Now it takes time. What they don't understand is you got to get permitting, licensing. You got to buy land. You got the infrastructure to put in. It takes time to get this done. They think this stuff happens overnight, right? Number one. Number two, they're also very aware that in America, everybody that loved this earlier when the truth and everybody was trying to argue, oh, I'll bet you money that it flips at the halfway point. Every president it does. It's only not done it like twice. So it's like, are we really hedging our bets on that? And all it takes is Trump to do one thing that really surprises people, opens people up, shocks people, something in the right moment. Maybe he exposes something, and then people are like, okay, I like him. The
shutting down the cartels in Mexico, freeing Iran, and a GDP that's at 6,
right,
and a CPI that's at 2.
So
that might work.
William, I don't know if you were on before when I said that we had a discussion, and I said, listen, if they were complaining about when he had said something about going after the cartels in Mexico, and I said, listen, this woman, if she's smart, she has to come out and say, you can't do that. But meanwhile, she gets on the phone and says, let's do this, but I have to publicly be against you or they'll kill me in 2 seconds.
Of course.
Yes. So she clearly did exactly what I said and said, help us. Give us the intelligence. That way it doesn't necessarily look like you're involved, which we shouldn't have even exposed that we were. We shouldn't have even said that we had intelligence to give it to them. We should have just let them have the glory. But, they can't do that. We got to open our mouths over here.
Yeah, that's Trump. Come on. You think Trump would do that?
Right, exactly. And it should have been silenced. But here's the deal. They make one mistake and kill an American. You remember what he said last time? They killed an American family in a van, if I remember right. And they gave the cartel like 48 hours to hand somebody over who did it. And they did. They handed over like 2 or 3 guys because they were like, we don't want these guys coming across the border. And they knew Trump would. And trust me, if they do harm somebody down there ain't going to be an ask. It will be Trump. And clearly, right now, I guarantee you, and before, drones are flying over. They're tracking people just like they knew where Maduro was, just like they knew where Bin Laden was. They monitor these guys. They know what clothes they're wearing. Like, they literally rebuilt the house, that Maduro was in to train in. This stuff is crazy, the intelligence that they got. And
for sure.
It's going to get quick. And so now, but the only thing is we also got to remember that side of the aisle, they literally were out in the street protesting no kings, no dictators. And then we took out a dictator and they said, release the dictator so he can go back and dictate the people who were celebrating that he was no longer dictator. And it was limited in Venezuela, but those people came out and said, why? Their families were here down in Miami. It was like a World Cup event, man. They were partying, celebrating. Literally. The Colombians that I know very closely want America to go in and get rid of the guy that's in there because the cartels are now the guerrillas are taking root again.
Well, they were celebrating too because the amount of Venezuelans that are in Colombia, Peru, even in Chile, all 3 of those countries were secretly like, yes, because they have a huge problem with Venezuelans migrating to their country and causing all kinds of issues that we would link to our illegal immigration.
Right. And the one thing I laughed at is somebody on here was arguing about we gave Argentina $23 billion. And I was like, it wasn't just a gift. We're getting beef exchange. Well, why don't we have our own beef? Because beef in America, the cost has gone through the roof. I mean, we're paying for burger what we used to pay for steaks, right? So we can bring in Argentinian beef, and that that's a way that they could pay us back for the $23 billion, because if we didn't do it, China would.
Okay. Do you know why our beef is so high? There's 4 companies that basically do all of the meat packing. 2 of them are run by Brazil. And the 2 that do it control our beef industry. And it's not the price of the cow, it's the price of the slaughterhouse, because the Brazilians are manipulating it.
And I can believe that, I mean, right now there's a massive, Smithfield's actually moving one of their plants, and it's a multi-billion-dollar deal. But, of course, they're moving it from a downtown point in that city. It's where I'm from, actually, where I moved here from. And this, Denny Sanford gave like $50 million to buy the area and it would be a great area once they move that out of there. But now you've got people who are upset, but they didn't want to let that out of the state just because of the economic impact of that plant, because Smithfield, as you know, is freaking huge, but they're owned by a Shanghai group, if I remember right.
That's the third one is owned by China. Hanson, I got a question for you. And for you guys, did you guys hear a few weeks ago, Trump said, hey, if you are in the Chinese government or military and you want to come talk to the CIA, we're like open for business. Did you guys hear that little blip?
Advertisements, specifically directed at
Right. Yeah. Okay, so do you think there was a link between that and a week later, the purge?
Well,
do you think maybe there was a coup afoot and he caught wind of it?
Yeah, I don't think that because of that. This is like this is one thing linked in the whole operation. I mean, this is. I mean, the thing is, it basically sows suspicion among the high officials in China and all that. So, I mean, I don't think that is the one that precipitated that. It must be just one of many big operations. So it does. I mean, it's a convergence or confluence of many events, and then of course Xi Jinping is a very suspicious person, and he basically purged everybody in the military commission, the high military commission. So except one guy who's doing like we call it political stuff. All the professional military men have been purged.
Me when the Iranian president Shahjan, and then suddenly when he came back, he got offed, which seemed highly suspicious to me. Like maybe we had met with him and had something going on. Like I talked to a friend of mine who's from Hong Kong, and we were theorizing that perhaps there was a coup afoot, and that he got wind of it. Or it's like you're saying, he just got extremely paranoid and had been wanting to do it for a while and felt like he had an excuse.
Yeah, that could be.
I'm just scared.
Yeah, there's a lot of rumor about the rumors swirling around about coup attempts and everything, and counter coups and everything. So yeah, I mean, that nobody knows exactly what's happening, but definitely Xi Jinping's position is weakening. He's taking out all the whole military high commission.
Yeah, I keep praying for a revolution. Tiananmen Square Part 2, 2.0.
Yeah, all the generals, not only the commission, all the generals, we got 4-star generals, 3-star, 2 stars, and he took out like the whole high commands of the rocket force 1 or 2 years ago.
Yeah, I remember that. Thanks for your opinion. I respect your opinion, and I've been asked a question, legal question about the ruling from the Supreme Court, but I don't think she's still. But
Jenny from the block.
yo, I had never heard her speak. It's like a ghost. The fuck? Like a fucking phantom. That's crazy. Yo, J-Lo, are you being held hostage? Why can't you speak freely?
Hello?
Huh?
I'm afraid my karma will go down for a terrible joke.
Not that. Just say it.
No, I already did, and now I feel like bad about it. And it's not just because of.
About that.
This is the one where he's on a talk show and his daughter is sitting next to him, and they ask, "What do you have in common, Ivanka, with your dad?" She said golf or something else. Then they asked Trump, what do you have in common? He goes, "If I said sex, that'd be awkward."
Wait, what did you say?
that. I remember that.
Yeah.
What did you say?
He said, so they asked, what do you guys have in common with one? No, that was Howard Stern was different. Howard Stern was talking about her body and how she was a sexy piece of ass. This is when she was a kid. So they asked Ivanka, what do you have in common with your dad? And she said golf and something else. And they asked Trump, and Trump said, if I said sex, that'd be awkward.
Wait, before we confirm if
I don't
this
even know what that means.
Wait, couple.
Yeah, like she brought up one thing and then went to another.
That's what he said.
Confirm this is true. Before we confirm if he actually said this or not, do you guys think that's disgusting? Before we confirm if it's true.
Yeah, we don't know what the context is. I'm gonna go check it out.
Yeah,
What's the context?
I think
no, I'm gonna say no.
that's all there is to it. Yes. If there's a context, then I have to hear it. But if that's it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because the problem was she kind of hit the debate switch, right? So she provided like the scenario that we've already discussed.
Can you play that if someone's got it?
Just hold on. It
was an awkward rebuttal.
No, so like she provided like the whole dating thing, like the View interview, right? Yeah. So then when we start talking about that, she hit us with the debate switch and then brought something else. Come on, bro. And then brought something else up that we weren't even talking about. So now we have to
giving you
So
instances.
this is cringe.
Come on, lady.
This is cringe.
She's the. What do you mean cringe? She's the one who brought up the whole View interview in the first place.
No, I'm saying. Wait. You're saying like. Okay,
I'm saying Ace brought up the interview.
Let me ask you something. How could that be consensualized in a way where it's not like as weird as it comes off?
That's like, all right. So
This was a Wendy Williams show.
So you're talking about the switch?
You said you need context, right?
All right. So yes, maybe you're not hearing me. So what I'm saying is,
No, I'm hearing you loud and clear.
all right. So Ace brought up the dating one for the View. We all start talking about that.
I think someone
And
else
then
brought that
she
up.
like,
What we're talking about.
hold on. No, we're not.
No, when
Because
someone
on the
brought up the View, I thought they meant
No,
this
we're
one of you.
We're talking about the interview sequence.
This was- Yeah, so sorry. This
We're
one was on the View. Sorry, this was on Wendy Williams. I thought it was a View.
All right. So
It is
so
Wendy
she
Williams,
mentioned the
but here's
View.
what I'm
It's
saying.
always
I'm gonna look
Come
this up.
on, but yeah. So she
Can we
mentioned
hear that tonality? Can we just hear it?
Yeah, she mentioned she mentioned the dating. Now she's switching it to something about sex.
Right. Hold on.
Do we agree that that's what happened?
That's not.
Well, okay, what happened?
So like, here's what happened, right?
Oh.
Yeah, what happened, brother? Let's see how good you can
Here's what
try.
happened. She brought up sex. I interjected on dating. Like, who would you date that you wouldn't have sex with, right? That's how we started talking about the interview where he mentioned dating. But she was consistently emphasizing the sex time that she was referring to. Now taking place is instead of addressing right. So like instead of addressing the fact that he said he has sex in common with his daughter, you want to quibble about which talk show he said it on.
Don't just keep it on the time.
Hey, the dating his daughter.
Hold on. Does it matter the way this occurred? Can we just look at what you said, and then you can give us thoughts? Because you said there's context to say sex.
Hey, hold on. So
You
this
still
is
trying to defend him without.
And I'm outright saying no.
Hey, all I'm saying is we are having a recollection, like session here. Somebody's
we don't.
tracking a.
We're not having a recollection session. We're not.
Just hold on, bro. Somebody's tracking has been questioned, and I'm
No,
just
we're
wondering.
talking about how egregious he is.
Bro. Hey, when I told you that we're doing something here, obviously you're not a part of that.
Everyone's saying that they're not doing this.
Now he's going to take the.
Okay, but I'm participating too, so like we are.
What the fuck do you think we're running away from?
Okay, can somebody just read?
You're talking about something that's irrelevant. Can we get
No. But Louis doing the experiment.
This nigga Luca thinks that he's tracking well. I'm pointing out that this nigga's not tracking well.
Oh my god. You're running away.
Why? For what?
Why can't I just kill this nigga first before I kill you, bro?
Because we're gonna come back here. We're never gonna come back to the point. You're gonna jump to the next point. That's what you do. It's your style.
Bro, if I'm acknowledging that both
Can we please confirm if it was or not? Can we first confirm if it's or not at the context?
Yeah. Let's just go back to the context because this will be right, bro. They can't fart.
Or did you want?
Somebody
Wait, hold on.
Who said what when?
Look, because that's important, and Louis just asked
Wait,
that.
I put the article in the chat. I can
How about you was tracking? All right, hold on. I'm gonna go ahead. Bro, can I get my point? Thank you.
You good?
No. Okay, hold on, nigga. What the fuck? Just chill, Luca. Just chill. Okay. No. All it was a sassy ass, awkward, white rebuttal janitor joke shit. So no, it's not fucking weird. Y'all act like y'all ain't never been around white people before.
They really
have.
They
You're
really the fuck happened. What world do y'all live in?
You're normalizing this behavior.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
What?
This is copium.
Y'all are trolling around.
Well, right now, Dawn
not
is saying
trolling.
that
You know, a lot of
people.
This
is copium.
I'm really worried.
A lot of people live in ghettos, bro. What do you think?
Guys, can I read it?
That's what I'm starting to think, bro.
Can I read it?
No, don't read it. Play it. We need to hear the tone. We need to hear inflections and shit.
Thank you. We need to hear the context.
Yes, we need to hear the tone because tone is going to give context.
What does an inflection do to that?
Everything.
I have no idea how to play
It makes an inference towards it being a joke or a sassy, and it attaches the mood to it. Stop. Weird people. I know it's weird. I'm not denying that it is.
Ace don't know shit, man. You ain't even American, bro.
All white people are weird.
From Pakistan, man.
No, I'm not. I'm not from Pakistan, little bitch.
Oh, shit. Well, she ain't from Pakistan.
This interview was in 2013, 13 years ago.
Not there either. What the fuck?
She's like 27 years old, right?
She's from Rochester. Anyway, look. All I'm saying is...
So this is 11 years later. She's 35 years old at the time. Is that accurate? She's not a little girl, right, Ace?
Listen, so what do you mean? This is somehow better?
Just hold on.
Why you
claim
don't
that she was a
So
little
he's
girl.
made comments when she was a little girl. There's multiple
Hold on.
comments.
You made it.
No, I'm
Come on,
saying
I have
he
this
was
guy's
we were
PTR,
talking about
fellas.
different things.
Hold on.
We were
Come on.
talking
You
about
made a
different
claim.
things.
Hey,
Different
you made a
instances.
claim.
He's made comments about her when she was a little girl.
Fucking right. You make a claim, this is how it goes.
I'm
Is she
saying it's
35 at
disgusting.
the motherfucking time or not?
How old she is right now? I don't
Well, find
Hold
out.
on.
But she
Hold on.
is his
Come
daughter,
on.
no?
Come on. Hold on.
Did she make the claim that this bolstered the claim that he's a pedophile? Did she make that claim?
No.
He's
She made it.
creepy.
Hold
What
on.
are we talking about?
Hold on. She made a claim about
The
the
more like
specific interview.
get more
Shut the
confident.
fuck up, bro.
I figured.
Why don't you allow
Ace
Ace to speak, bro?
Like,
Why don't you just shut the
you
fuck
don't
up and
allow
let
Ace
Ace
to
speak?
speak. Bro,
So
why
when
you
Ace
She's
brought
running
up this
away.
specific, when Ace brought up this specific interview, he mentioned Ivanka Trump is there and that
It's his
she
daughter.
was a kid.
No,
I
oh
don't
my
recall
God.
calling
You're
her a
a
kid.
fucking
So now you never brought up that she was
No,
a
I
kid.
said that she.
No, she
that
didn't.
was his
Why you
daughter.
No, she didn't. No, she didn't. She
We
didn't.
talked
Well,
about
she
no.
did
We
not.
talked about
You're a
we
liar,
talked
bro.
Bro,
She
just
said
shut
she
up.
was
Get the
a
fuck out
little
the way,
girl.
You're just a liar, bro. You're
Sitting next to him, a little girl sitting next to him.
That's what the
She
fuck she
fucking
said,
did.
bro. That's what the fuck she said.
We talked about
No.
different. Hold on.
She
This
wasn't
is
a
so
little
stuck.
girl in the fucking View interview either.
Wait, who said little girl?
Her.
You're a fucking liar, bro.
What
Never
the
said little
fuck,
girl.
bro?
Actually, so
As soon as,
No, I'm a fucking
listen,
liar.
bro. As soon as this nigga Luca
You're
said,
fucking
I
protecting
remember
what
that.
and for what?
Hey, can you
Who
hold on?
are you protecting? You're calling me a fucking liar. Who the fuck are you protecting?
So
Okay,
when
hold
she
on.
was,
Why are you calling people liars?
That wasn't.
hey, hey,
That
can you hold
wasn't
on
the
for
time.
a
That wasn't the time.
No one's fucking lying.
Hey,
Everyone
Don,
fucking
can you,
said
Don,
that.
can you hold on for
Okay, we talked over each other. So we
This
really
is
don't
horrible.
Hold
All you
on.
gotta do is suck down.
No, you can just
The
hold on
time
for
when he said something sexual about his daughter was
Hold
here.
on, hold on.
Here you go.
Just
I'll
real
give you
quick.
that article. There you go.
So when you were providing this is when Lucas started to chime in. Oh, I remember that. Fuck, nigga, can you hold on, bro?
Can you just?
Can you hold on, bro? Like, I'm pointing out the point in time when she mentioned that Ivanka Trump was sitting right by him and she was a little girl. This is when this nigga Luca was like, oh, shit, I do remember this. She's
didn't
right.
say little girl.
Fuck, nigga. She just acknowledged that she fucking
Okay,
did.
hold on
She
for a
was talking
second.
about
Hold
something
on. We
different.
talked about various. It's the one that with the little girl. That's when he was with Marla Maples, and he talked about.
Oh, so she did
That's when she was
mention
1
that,
year
you
old.
fucking
That was when
dumbass.
she was that I never mentioned it, but there is an instance that you want to bring up.
Clearly not.
So she,
That's not what I mentioned, bro. I can give you an instance if you really want to do this.
You gotta chill, bro. You gotta chill.
It's clearly
Bro,
not the interview.
if she brought up the
No,
first
no, no,
interview,
It's clearly not the interview.
Good night, my darling. Good night, my dear. Good night, sweet darling. Your dreams are near. Good